Welcome to the UPEI Physics Transitions program for the fall of 2015. I'm going to go over some stuff that we've included in our Physics Transition program. I'm also going to give you a quick introduction to what you might see if you were going into Physics 121, and Physics 111 would be similar, and our brief website. So just in the introduction, you've already logged in, you've got your password and your user ID and all that, and you've clicked on this. I'll try to keep it 8 minutes or less, so we might get that a little bit shorter, we'll see. You'll notice that you'll have a few different categories here, and you can open them all and close them all, or you can open them individually, which is what I'm going to do. So if you click on this, you'll open it up, and what you'll see is that in terms of physics at UPEI, there's two general streams that you can go into. There's a life science stream, and there's a general physics stream. Now, one of the main differences between them is that the life science stream, you don't have to have taken physics in high school, whereas in the general physics stream, you do have to have had grade 12 physics or gotten an equivalent prerequisite from the course instructor. So the life sciences stream is intended for somebody going into areas with biology related materials. So that would be medical school, veterinary school, biology, that sort of areas. Somebody that was going into an area like chemistry, because there are areas like biochemistry, they might choose to do the life science stream, or they might choose to do the general physics stream, depending on what area of chemistry they're interested in going into. Somebody who's interested in going into engineering or math and such might choose the general physics stream because that is one of the requirements. Anyway, the courses, the classes do actually go at the same time. They're Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Check your lab schedule for areas. But the labs run at different times. So if you check, the labs for the life science stream run starting on every Thursday, then they go to the Friday, and then the following Monday has the same lab. And these start the first week of classes on September Thursday the 10th. So if you're on a Monday group, you wouldn't be until the Monday after that date. Whereas if you're in the general physics stream, they have their labs on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, with the engineering students having their labs on Tuesdays starting on September 8th, and the other general physics students going on Wednesdays starting September 9th. So in terms of the math requirements, there are different math requirements for the two courses. The life science stream has one requirement, the 111 has another requirement. Okay, go in, check out the information, check out the screencasts in terms of the different streams. Note that there is the rare case where somebody will start in one stream and switch over to the another, but it's generally once you pick a stream, you stay with that one. Okay. So different areas that we'd like to emphasize is we have provided a few general learning and studying tips. The first one, how to get the most out of studying, is a very general one, just in terms of the psychology of how humans can effectively study and learn material well, and give you some good tips on how to start studying and learning your resources so that you don't waste any time. So you're not choosing strategies that aren't effective in terms of learning the material. There's some general physics ones, physics-specific ones, and a nice little video about how science misconceptions can hinder your understanding of science material. And science misconception can happen for a variety of reasons. It could be from a previous lesson where you learned incorrect information, or something that you picked up on your own from maybe a science movie or something like that. And once you've got a science misconception, you tend to frame the world in terms of that. So it can be really hard to figure out when you have this misconception, because you consider it as knowledge that's true. Okay, so it's some good information. So in terms of the rest of them, the first three are general information stuff that we're assuming that you've got to a good skill level. And so in each one, what will end up happening is there's areas that we're looking at. We'll have a little assessment quiz where you can sort of figure out just a general idea of your knowledge of these areas. Some extra resources if you'd like to bone up on some stuff, and you can always feel free to, if you figure out that you need to figure out some stuff in terms of ratio and proportion, there's always lots of information online as well. And then at the end, after August 1st, if you're not happy with your initial test mark, you can go in and take the test 2 more times, and those are open until the end of September 11th. So we're going to do something similar in terms of specific math skills, and that's for things like powers of 10, rounding, order of operations, that sort of stuff. Again, 3 times to have that test. Visualization and spatial reasoning. We're testing you on things like interpreting graphs, geometry, estimation of angles, that visual aspect of relationship that's so important to physics. Okay, so there's 3 of those. This last area, not everybody would be expected to go through this, because if you haven't taken physics in high school, we wouldn't expect you to do this. So for the Physics 121 students, this whole area would be optional, whereas the Physics 111 and 111E students, we would expect to have taken secondary school previously. So this area here tests on the subject areas that are covered in the Prince Edward Island grade 11 and grade 12 physics courses. There's no resource material, so because we expect that you have taken this material and you have notes or something that you can resource. And this test here you can take twice. Okay, so just some general resources. Go through, browse on your own. If you find a mistake or a problem, you can actually contact the department. Okay, and we're going to give some information about that in a little bit. Okay, so that's the stuff on the transition material. Just as an example of what you might see if you go into, say, a physics course in the fall, you would have a lot of information. We strongly encourage you to read over the syllabus for any course you take carefully. And there's going to be lots of information. And that'll be things like lecture notes, any screencast materials, which may or may not be there depending on the course, quiz samples, all sorts of stuff. In terms of the lab experiments, one thing you'll see when you go in is you'll see that we actually keep our lab timetable online. That's just so that if there is a change in the lab timetable, we can open this up and we can do this and have an up-to-date version all the time. So whenever you're looking for the lab timetable, there's a copy that's posted outside the lab door, which is also updated, but this version here will always be kept updated. Now this is the last fall's one, so it's going to refer to me last fall's timetable. When you get access to your current course, it'll actually click on and you'll be able to open up to the current version. And if you take a look, I actually went ahead and I did link to the current version for this fall, but right now this is a draft timetable. So if you go in there, this link will also be available in your course and you'll take a look. So if you're on, say, Fridays, you would look and you'd see there's your schedule for Fridays. If you're on Tuesdays, that would be your schedule for Tuesdays. It also gives any available makeup lab days. Those would have to be arranged ahead of time if you're going to take advantage of that. So we've gone over the transitions, we've gone over a few examples in terms of physics courses. Just to give you a quick introduction to the UPEI website physics material, you can get there by this address right here. You can also get there by putting physics.upei.ca or upei.ca/physics. All of them will get there. Now, one thing I'd like to point out for people going into the physics program is our physics chair, Dr. Bill Whalen, is going to be going on sabbatical as of July 1st. So if you end up with a problem with an area and you need his help, Dr. Derek Lawther will be the acting chair for the fall. So he'll be a good resource person for you, and I'll go over another resource person in a minute. So there's some information on why to study physics, our physics program, which gives you the different options in terms of what's happening in terms of the majors and minors and honors and stuff. We have a major, we have honors, we have a co-op program, and we have a minor in physics. We also have a linked program with biomedical physics as well. Now, if you end up having a problem with your schedule and in terms of your lab, we do have a web form that's accessed. Remember, this is UPEI and into the physics and into the physics program area. If you look here, if you access this web form, I'm just going to open it in a new tab so I don't lose this. If you open it up, what you'll see is it'll ask you to sign in. And when you do that, it's going to be your username and password. And you'll end up doing this a lot for anything that's restricted for UPEI students. And I just used a fake one. So we go into here and you'll see it's got information on a physics lab registration issue. So once you give me your information here, then what I can do is it'll send me that information and we can help you out with that. Okay, so that's it. What we're hoping is that with this transitions program, you'll be able to become aware of any gaps in your knowledge and try to fix them before things get too far. Remember, it's always easier to try to keep up or to try to become more self-aware and know when you're going to need to study more. So check things out. Check out how to get the most out of studying and the other transition materials in the other programs. Thank you, and we hope that you have a great fall. One last thing, consider this a little addendum. So when you go in, just if you're looking for extra help or if you notice a problem with the program, the faculty and staff here have some information. So the acting chair for the fall would be Dr. Derek Lawther. If there's a problem with the transition programs or with one of the quizzes or something else is happening and there's a computer glitch, you can email me, Lisa Steele, at ldsteele@upei.ca, and I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Thanks.